In moments of humiliation, particularly when it happens in front of others, it's easy to be swept up in the rush of emotions. Your mind may race with anger, embarrassment, or even confusion, and your first instinct may be to react impulsively. However, this is exactly the moment when remaining calm and centered can set you apart and reflect your inner strength. The truth is, how you respond in these crucial moments will define not only how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself as well. When someone humiliates you, they're often seeking a reaction, something to validate their own insecurities or to get under your skin. If you immediately react emotionally, whether through anger, shame, or even tears, you are giving them exactly what they want: control over your emotions. This is a loss of power. And the moment you relinquish that control, you lose more than just a fleeting argument. You lose the ability to maintain your composure in future challenges. Remaining calm in the face of humiliation is a sign of emotional mastery. And it's the first step toward reclaiming your power. Emotions are powerful, but they don't have to control you. It's vital to realize that feelings, no matter how intense, are temporary. Humiliation, as painful as it may feel in the moment, will pass. The intensity of the emotional storm you're experiencing right now will eventually subside. But how you respond during that storm shapes the lasting impression both on others and on your own sense of self-respect. When you can hold your emotions in check, you demonstrate the strength to navigate the storm without letting it destroy you. This doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing your emotions. It means allowing yourself the space to feel them without letting them dictate your behavior. Staying calm doesn't mean that you don't feel the hurt or that you should become emotionally numb. On the contrary, staying centered means recognizing the feelings for what they are: temporary reactions to an external stimulus, and choosing not to act on them immediately. The ability to step back and pause, to take a deep breath and gather yourself, is the key to responding in a way that preserves your dignity and your peace of mind. In those first moments when someone humiliates you, give yourself permission to take a step back. This is your opportunity to gain control over the situation before you react. Imagine taking a deep breath, slow and deliberate. In that moment of pause, you send a signal to your brain that says, I am in charge here, even if your heart is racing or your body is tense. That one moment of stillness is the anchor you need to remain grounded. It doesn't matter how loudly the humiliation echoes in your mind. In that breath, you reclaim the power to decide how you will move forward. Remaining calm also means avoiding the temptation to get defensive. Defensive reactions often come from a place of insecurity. You might feel the need to explain yourself, justify your actions, or fight back. But doing so in a reactive manner only prolongs the tension and feeds the cycle of negativity. Instead, try to shift your focus. Don't get wrapped up in defending your dignity or your position. Instead, reflect on your own internal strength and the realization that you don't need external validation to affirm your worth. When you stop trying to prove yourself to the other person or to anyone else, you demonstrate the true essence of confidence. Often the best response to humiliation is one that doesn't involve immediate words or reactions at all. By staying calm, you create a powerful sense of space where you are not dominated by the negativity that has been directed at you. You allow the situation to unfold without adding fuel to the fire. This gives you time to evaluate the context, assess the intentions of the person who is humiliating you, and determine whether their words hold any weight in your life. In most cases, when you respond in a calm and centered manner, you disarm the other person because they realize that they cannot provoke you. It's also important to remember that in moments of humiliation, the goal isn't to suppress or deny your emotions, but to ensure that they don't overwhelm you. Emotions are information. They signal your reactions to external circumstances. But they are not always an accurate reflection of the truth. In fact, when we react impulsively, we often misinterpret situations, allowing our emotions to distort reality. By staying calm and centered, you allow yourself the space to see the situation for what it is, rather than through the lens of heightened emotional reaction. Remaining calm also allows you to keep your focus on what truly matters. Instead of being consumed by the need to defend yourself, you can refocus your energy on your long-term goals, your personal growth, and the big picture. Humiliation in the moment is a minor event in the larger story of your life. If you react in a way that aligns with your values, maintaining your calmness and dignity, you are laying the groundwork for greater success in the future. When you don't let external negativity dictate your internal state, you are taking control of your emotional energy and using it to propel yourself forward. In these moments, what others say or do will matter less than how you respond. If you can remain calm and centered, you gain an immediate sense of inner peace. And with that peace, you are better equipped to deal with whatever comes next. You are not at the mercy of someone else's actions. You are in control of your response. In moments of humiliation, it's essential to remember your worth. This is perhaps one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal when faced with adversity, particularly in situations where others try to undermine you in public. The value of knowing who you are, what you stand for, and the accomplishments you've made is not just about self-esteem. It is about building a strong foundation that will remain intact no matter what happens in the external world. When someone humiliates you, they are projecting their own insecurities and issues onto you. What they say or do is a reflection of their personal challenges, not a direct measure of your value. If you can separate their words from your identity, you preserve your sense of self and keep your inner peace. Understanding your worth means accepting that no one, not even the most hurtful or demeaning person, has the power to take away your value. Often, when we're humiliated in front of others, our immediate reaction is to internalize the attack. We may question ourselves, wondering if there's some truth in what was said or whether we truly deserve the treatment we've received. But this is the moment when you must remind yourself that your worth is intrinsic. It cannot be altered by someone else's actions or words. Your worth comes from who you are at the core, your character, your principles, your talents, and your ability to make a positive impact on the world. These qualities cannot be diminished by a single moment of negativity. When we fail to recognize our own worth, we give power to those who seek to humiliate us. We start to believe the false narratives they spin, and we allow ourselves to be swayed by their opinions. The key to overcoming humiliation is remembering that your value is not up for debate. Just because someone decides to belittle you, it doesn't make their opinion a fact. It's simply an opinion, one that you don't have to accept or internalize. It's critical to remind yourself that other people's behavior says far more about them than it ever says about you. Their words or actions are based on their own fears, insecurities, or personal struggles. They are projecting their own issues onto you, but that doesn't mean you have to take them on as your own. A vital part of remembering your worth is understanding the uniqueness that you bring to the world. There's no one else exactly like you. Your experiences, your perspective, your voice, these are things that no one can take from you. When faced with humiliation, you must remind yourself that these attributes are what make you special and irreplaceable. No one's attempt to tear you down can erase the uniqueness that is you. This realization is empowering, and it gives you the strength to rise above any attack. Humiliation is often designed to make you feel small or inferior. But by remembering your worth, you reject the very foundation of that attempt. When you hold your head high and stay firm in your sense of self, you are sending a message that you are not affected by the false narratives others try to impose. You refuse to shrink under their judgment. Instead, you rise to the occasion, knowing that you are bigger than the moment of humiliation. You recognize that this moment is just a blip in the grand scheme of your life, and it does not define you. Another aspect of remembering your worth involves aligning yourself with the truth of your capabilities. Think about the times in your life when you've succeeded, when you've overcome challenges, or when you've impacted others in a positive way. Reflect on these moments, because they are the solid proof of your worth. They are the evidence that you are capable of achieving great things, and no amount of humiliation can erase the results of your hard work or the positive impact you've had. These accomplishments are part of who you are, and they reinforce the truth of your value. In these moments of public humiliation, it's also helpful to remember that your value is not tied to external validation. Society often measures worth through things like popularity, material success, or how others perceive you. But your true worth is not based on how many people like you or how much approval you receive. It's grounded in the qualities that define your character. You are valuable because of your integrity, your kindness, your resilience, and your ability to rise in the face of adversity. External validation may feel good in the moment, but it can be fleeting and unstable. When your worth is rooted in who you are at the core, no external event can shake it. Humiliation can often cause a temporary crisis of confidence, leading you to question everything you thought you knew about yourself. But in those moments, it's critical to return to the foundation of your value. Take a step back and reflect on everything you've already accomplished. Think about the challenges you've overcome, the people you've helped, and the strength you've shown in difficult situations. These are the qualities that define you, not the opinions or judgments of others. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone because it's already established within you. By returning to this truth, you shield yourself from the negative effects of humiliation and reaffirm your place in the world. Ultimately, remembering your worth is about recognizing that you are not defined by external circumstances or other people's opinions. You are defined by the qualities that make you who you are. When you internalize this truth, humiliation loses its power over you. You no longer allow someone else's attempt to diminish you to succeed. Instead, you stand firm in your self-knowledge, knowing that you are deserving of respect, kindness, and dignity. This internal understanding of your worth becomes an armor that protects you from the negativity that others may try to project onto you. In moments of humiliation, the power of silence cannot be underestimated. When someone humiliates you, the impulse to respond immediately, to defend yourself, to fight back, or to justify your actions can be overwhelming. However, often the most powerful and effective response is to say nothing at all. This may seem counterintuitive because it feels like silence allows the other person to win or gain the upper hand. But in reality, silence is one of the strongest tools you have at your disposal to maintain control over the situation and protect your own peace of mind. When you remain silent in the face of humiliation, you deny the other person the satisfaction of provoking you. In that moment, their words lose their power because they no longer have the intended effect. Humiliation thrives on a reaction, whether it's anger, embarrassment, or defensiveness. The person trying to humiliate you is likely seeking validation through your emotional response. When you deny them that satisfaction, they are left with nothing to feed off of. The more you stay silent, the more disarmed and ineffective their attempts become. Silence also serves as a shield for your own emotional well-being. When someone tries to humiliate you, their words can easily trigger an emotional response. In that moment, it's easy to feel the sting of their words and internalize the hurt. However, responding immediately and emotionally to the attack can amplify the pain. Instead, by remaining silent, you create space between the event and your emotional reaction. This space allows you to process the situation more rationally and with a clearer perspective. You give yourself time to step back, breathe, and reflect on what just happened. This pause can be incredibly empowering as it gives you the chance to regain control of your emotions before you respond in a way that you might later regret. In addition to giving you emotional space, silence communicates strength and confidence. It signals that you are not easily shaken by the words of others. In a world where many people react impulsively, the ability to remain calm and composed in the face of an attempt to humiliate you is a rare and admirable quality. By choosing not to engage, you show that you are unaffected by external negativity. This communicates to the other person and to everyone witnessing the situation that you are secure in who you are and that their words hold no real weight in your life. You are not dependent on validation from others, and you are not going to allow their actions to control your emotional state. Silence also preserves your dignity. When you engage in a back and forth exchange with someone who is trying to humiliate you, there's always the potential for things to escalate. The situation can quickly spiral into a heated argument where both parties are hurt and the exchange becomes more about proving who is right or wrong rather than addressing the underlying issue. By choosing silence, you avoid contributing to that escalation. You remain dignified and composed, showing that you are above the need to engage in petty exchanges. This is particularly important when the humiliation occurs in front of others. By not stooping to the level of responding in anger or defensiveness, you are elevating yourself above the drama and showing the strength of your character. In many cases, silence can also have the effect of disarming the person who is trying to humiliate you. People who seek to undermine others often do so because they thrive on creating conflict or provoking emotional reactions. When you do not give them that reaction, it forces them to confront the fact that their attempt to humiliate you has failed. It's not uncommon for such individuals to become uncomfortable when they are met with silence because they no longer have the control they seek. They may become flustered or awkward, unsure of how to proceed, as they were expecting a fight or an emotional response. Your silence essentially strips them of their power, leaving them with nothing to stand on. Furthermore, silence can often speak louder than words. When you stay silent, you communicate a multitude of messages without uttering a single word. You communicate that you are not intimidated by their words, that you are in control of your emotions, and that their attempts to lower your value have no impact on you. Sometimes what you don't say in a moment of humiliation is more powerful than any words you could choose to speak. Your silence becomes an expression of inner strength, a display of the fact that you are unshaken by negativity and that you value yourself too much to engage in drama. Choosing silence in these situations doesn't mean you are weak or passive. On the contrary, it is a strategic decision to remain in control of yourself. It's easy to react impulsively, but it takes strength to hold back, especially when you're feeling attacked. The decision to remain silent is a conscious choice to preserve your peace and dignity, and it requires a level of emotional intelligence and self-awareness. You are choosing not to give the other person the power to dictate your emotions or your response. Additionally, silence allows you to gain perspective. In the heat of the moment, emotions can cloud your judgment, making it difficult to assess the situation clearly. By remaining silent, you buy yourself time to reflect on the best way to proceed. It gives you the opportunity to analyze the situation, understand the motives of the person who is trying to humiliate you, and decide whether or not it's even worth responding. Often, in hindsight, you may realize that the best course of action was to simply let the moment pass without giving it any more attention or energy than it deserves. In the long run, silence becomes a powerful tool for maintaining your peace of mind and your personal integrity. When you refuse to let humiliation get under your skin, you are exercising emotional mastery and reinforcing your sense of self-worth. By not allowing yourself to be provoked, you remain in control of your response, and you keep your energy focused on the things that truly matter to you. In the grand scheme of life, the fleeting moments of humiliation lose their power when you choose silence as your response. When someone humiliates you, it can feel as if the whole world is watching. And it can be tempting to try to immediately restore your reputation or defend your honor. However, it's important to recognize that how you respond to humiliation can either empower or disempower you. One of the most powerful and dignified ways to navigate through humiliation is by responding with grace. Grace doesn't mean ignoring the situation or letting the other person off the hook for their behavior. Rather, it means handling the situation with composure, showing restraint, and maintaining your integrity, regardless of the negativity directed at you. Responding with grace is about maintaining your personal standards in the face of adversity. In moments of humiliation, it's easy to react out of hurt, frustration, or embarrassment, but these emotions can often cloud your judgment and lead to actions that you may later regret. By responding with grace, you allow yourself to rise above the situation and to take control of your own reaction, rather than being at the mercy of someone else's actions. Grace comes from a place of inner strength and self-assurance, and it is an outward expression of the deep conviction that you are not defined by other people's opinions or attacks. One of the key elements of responding with grace is showing restraint in your speech and actions. When someone humiliates you, your first impulse might be to lash out or retaliate with sharp words. However, this only escalates the situation and gives the person who tried to humiliate you the satisfaction of seeing you react emotionally. Instead of retaliating, responding with grace means choosing not to engage in petty arguments or insults. It's about taking a step back, pausing, and then choosing the high road. By maintaining control over your words and actions, you demonstrate that you are above the need for conflict and that you do not need to prove your worth through a confrontation. Grace also involves a certain level of forgiveness, both for the person who humiliated you and for yourself. When someone humiliates you, it is natural to feel anger, resentment, and frustration. These feelings are valid, but holding on to them will only cause you emotional distress and prevent you from moving forward. Responding with grace means choosing to let go of these negative emotions and not letting the person's actions have power over your happiness or peace of mind. This does not mean that you condone or accept the humiliation, but rather that you release the emotional hold it has on you. By forgiving, you free yourself from the burden of bitterness, which allows you to heal and continue on your journey with a sense of peace. Another important aspect of grace is maintaining your dignity, no matter how low others may try to bring you. When someone humiliates you, they are attempting to make you feel small, worthless, or inferior. However, by responding with grace, you refuse to let them diminish your sense of self. Grace allows you to hold your head high in the face of adversity, knowing that your dignity is not determined by external circumstances. You recognize that your self-worth comes from within, and it cannot be stripped away by the actions or opinions of others. This inner strength shines through in your demeanor, making you appear composed and unshaken, which can be far more powerful than any defense or retaliation. When you respond with grace, you also set an example for others. In a world where negativity and conflict are often glorified, choosing grace can be a beacon of light to those around you. Your ability to rise above the situation and maintain your poise can inspire others to do the same. By showing grace in the face of humiliation, you demonstrate that it is possible to navigate life's challenges with dignity and respect without getting caught up in the drama or negativity that often surrounds us. This example can have a ripple effect, encouraging others to act with kindness and composure and fostering a more positive and supportive environment for everyone. Responding with grace also means not allowing the humiliation to define you or your future actions. The person who humiliated you may expect you to become defensive, angry, or even withdrawn. However, by responding with grace, you show that you are not going to let a momentary attack on your character dictate how you live your life. You don't allow the situation to linger or fester in your mind, nor do you let it shape how you behave moving forward. Instead, you continue on your path with the same confidence and integrity that you had before the humiliation occurred. Grace allows you to move forward with resilience, not allowing the negativity of others to take root in your life. Another important aspect of grace is self-awareness. When you are able to respond gracefully, it reflects a strong sense of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. You recognize the power of your own emotions and are able to choose your response rather than being ruled by impulse or reaction. This self-awareness also allows you to better understand the motivations of the person who humiliated you. While this doesn't excuse their behavior, it provides you with insight into why they may have acted the way they did. This understanding can help you to not take the situation personally and to move forward without harboring resentment. Grace is not about being passive or submissive. It's about having the courage and strength to remain true to who you are in the face of adversity. It requires inner confidence to know that you do not need to prove yourself to anyone, especially when the provocation is unjust or unwarranted. Responding with grace means standing firm in your beliefs and values and not allowing external circumstances or the actions of others to sway your integrity. Ultimately, responding with grace is an act of empowerment. It allows you to take control of your own response to humiliation and to refuse to let the negativity of others determine how you feel or behave. It is a conscious choice to protect your emotional well-being, maintain your dignity, and rise above the situation with poise and confidence. By responding with grace, you not only shield yourself from the damage that humiliation can cause, but you also demonstrate a level of strength and self-respect that others can admire and learn from. It is a reminder that no matter what happens around you, the most important thing is how you choose to respond, and grace provides the power to respond in the most empowering way possible. In moments of humiliation, it can often feel as if the situation is out of your control. The sting of the words, the embarrassment, and the judgment from others can overwhelm you. However, one of the most empowering ways to handle humiliation is by using it as an opportunity for growth. Rather than allowing the situation to diminish you, you can view it as a chance to learn, evolve, and become stronger. Growth is not just about success in favorable circumstances, but also about how you rise from adversity. When someone humiliates you, there is a profound opportunity to reflect, grow, and transform the experience into a stepping stone for personal development. The first step in using humiliation as a tool for growth is to shift your mindset. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeing humiliation as a personal attack, an assault on your character, or a sign of failure. This perspective can create a cycle of negative thinking and self-doubt. However, if you view the situation through the lens of growth, You can see it as a moment of self-reflection rather than self-rejection. Humiliation can be an uncomfortable mirror that forces you to confront aspects of yourself or your behavior that need attention. By reframing the experience, you turn what could be a moment of defeat into an opportunity for insight and improvement. Growth begins with self-awareness. When you experience humiliation, it's natural to feel defensive or angry, but before you respond or react, take a moment to pause and examine the situation. What triggered your emotional response? Is there any truth to the words or actions that humiliated you? Are there lessons you can extract from the situation that could make you better, wiser, or stronger? This moment of pause, of reflection, gives you the space to look beyond the immediate discomfort and examine the deeper meaning. Growth doesn't happen by brushing off negative experiences. It happens when we dig deep, learn from them, and use those lessons to fuel our development. This self-awareness process also involves understanding your emotional triggers. Often, humiliation cuts to the core of our insecurities and vulnerabilities. The words, actions that humiliate us may touch on parts of our identity that we are sensitive about, whether it's our appearance, our intelligence, or our behavior. By identifying these triggers, you can better understand the aspects of yourself that require healing or strengthening. Humiliation, in this sense, can serve as a catalyst for addressing long-standing wounds or insecurities. Instead of allowing these vulnerabilities to control your response, you can use this awareness to work on becoming more resilient and confident in those areas. This proactive approach turns a potentially painful experience into a key to your personal growth. Another essential component of growth in the face of humiliation is developing emotional resilience. Life is filled with challenges and difficulties, and the ability to bounce back from setbacks is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. When you are humiliated, your initial emotional reaction may be one of hurt or anger, but this doesn't have to be the end of the story. Emotional resilience is the ability to manage and recover from those initial feelings, to not let them define you or dictate your next actions. Instead of succumbing to the pain of the moment, you can choose to acknowledge your emotions, process them, and then move forward with a renewed sense of strength and self-assurance. This process of resilience doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but rather not allowing them to control your response to the situation. As you grow through humiliation, it also opens up the possibility of learning more about others and the dynamics of human interaction. Often, when someone humiliates us, it says more about them than it does about us. It can reflect their insecurities, their desire for control, or their inability to manage their own emotions. By taking a step back and considering the motivations behind the other person's behavior, you gain a broader understanding of human psychology and relationships. This understanding can foster empathy, compassion, and a deeper connection with others. You might realize that the person who humiliated you may not have intended to cause harm, or perhaps they were acting out of their own pain or insecurity. This perspective doesn't excuse their behavior, but it allows you to respond with greater understanding rather than reacting out of anger or frustration. Humiliation also teaches you the importance of boundaries. Sometimes the people who humiliate us do so because we have not clearly communicated our boundaries, or because we've allowed them to cross certain lines without consequence. When we allow others to treat us poorly or disrespectfully, we are inadvertently opening the door for more of the same behavior. On the other hand, when you use humiliation as an opportunity to examine and strengthen your boundaries, you empower yourself. You can learn to set clearer limits with people, assert yourself more effectively, and stand up for your own dignity. The ability to enforce boundaries is an essential aspect of personal growth, and it can significantly improve the quality of your relationships and your sense of self-worth. Humiliation can also highlight areas in your life where you need to build more confidence. Often, when we are humiliated, it's because we feel powerless or inadequate in some way. These experiences can highlight gaps in our self-assurance and belief in our abilities. Instead of allowing these moments to erode your confidence, use them as a challenge to develop a stronger sense of self. Whether it's through practicing positive self-talk, achieving small wins that build your self-esteem, or stepping outside of your comfort zone, these experiences can teach you how to become more self-assured. As you work on boosting your confidence, you will also learn how to face future challenges with greater poise and resilience. Another critical aspect of using humiliation for growth is understanding the importance of forgiveness, both for the person who humiliated you and for yourself. The process of forgiving someone who has humiliated you can be incredibly freeing. Holding on to resentment, anger, or bitterness keeps you emotionally trapped and prevents you from moving forward. By choosing to forgive, you release yourself from the grip of the past and open up the space for healing. Similarly, forgiveness towards yourself is essential. Often we internalize humiliation and blame ourselves for allowing it to happen. However, forgiving yourself for feeling vulnerable or hurt is a key step in releasing the negative impact of the experience. It's a way of saying that you will no longer let this moment define you or hold you back. Ultimately, using humiliation as an opportunity for growth requires a commitment to personal development. It's about choosing to learn from the experience rather than letting it diminish you. By taking the time to reflect, practice emotional resilience, establish better boundaries, and develop your confidence, you not only move past the humiliation, but emerge from it stronger and more self-assured. The process of growth transforms a negative experience into one of empowerment, and it reinforces the idea that no external circumstance can truly define your worth, only you can do that. When we face humiliation, especially in public, our first instinct may be to withdraw, to shrink away, to protect our dignity. However, there is incredible power in choosing to remain composed and confident in the face of such adversity. The external reactions of others, the judgment, the laughter, and the comments may feel like they are defining us, but in reality, it is our response to the situation that truly matters. It is not about how others see us in that moment, but about how we maintain our sense of self amidst the chaos. The key is to remain unshaken, to stand firm in your personal power, and to preserve your inner peace regardless of what is unfolding around you. Remaining composed in the face of humiliation starts with emotional control. The human instinct is to react when we are hurt, to fire back with words, or to allow the anger and embarrassment to show through. However, losing emotional control in such situations rarely leads to positive outcomes. Instead of giving in to the urge to react immediately, it's essential to take a step back, breathe, and assess the situation. Your response in the heat of the moment will define your character and your strength. When you remain calm, it signals to others that you are not easily rattled, and it reinforces your inner power. This calmness doesn't mean that you suppress your emotions, but rather that you control how you express them. To remain composed also requires the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to anchor yourself in the present moment, regardless of external circumstances. In situations of humiliation, it's easy to get caught up in the narrative of the moment, thinking about how embarrassed you feel, what others must be thinking, or what the consequences might be. These thoughts can amplify the humiliation, making it harder to regain your sense of control. By staying mindful, you can choose to focus on your breath, your body, or simply the present moment. This practice helps you to detach from the noise and chaos of the situation and reconnect with your sense of self. You can remind yourself that this is just one moment in time, and it will pass. Another crucial element of maintaining composure in the face of humiliation is self-assurance. When we are humiliated, we often feel as though our worth is being questioned or undermined. However, true self-assurance doesn't depend on the approval or disapproval of others. It's rooted in your belief in your own value, regardless of external opinions. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, you know that no one's words or actions can diminish who you are. In the midst of humiliation, remind yourself of your achievements, your strengths, and the positive aspects of your character. This inner assurance will help you to hold your ground and remain steady when others try to shake your confidence. Another powerful aspect of composure is resilience. Humiliation, while painful, is often a temporary experience. It can feel overwhelming at the moment, but just like all other challenges, it too shall pass. The ability to bounce back from these difficult moments is what separates those who remain stuck in negative emotions from those who rise above them. Resilience isn't about avoiding pain, but about how we handle it when it comes. It's about accepting the emotional discomfort of the moment and choosing to persevere. Resilient individuals understand that setbacks, including humiliation, are a part of life, and they don't let these moments define their journey. They keep moving forward knowing that their sense of self is unshakable. One of the most important aspects of maintaining composure in the face of humiliation is to cultivate a mindset of detachment. When we are emotionally attached to how others perceive us, humiliation becomes far more painful. We give away our power to others by allowing their judgments to affect us. Detachment doesn't mean indifference or carelessness. It simply means not allowing others' opinions to dictate our emotional state. It is a practice of not taking things personally, understanding that the actions and words of others are more a reflection of them than of us. When you detach from the need for validation, you create a sense of freedom that allows you to navigate humiliating situations with grace and poise. Humiliation often brings up a deep fear of rejection or failure, but by staying composed, you also confront and overcome these fears. The more you practice staying calm under pressure, the less fear you will have about what others think. Rejection, failure, and judgment become less powerful when you realize they are simply part of life's ebb and flow, and they don't determine your worth. By standing firm in your composure, you take back control of your emotional state and refuse to let fear dictate your response to life's challenges. This shift in perspective helps you to cultivate an inner strength that cannot be easily shaken by external circumstances. Another reason why remaining composed in the face of humiliation is so powerful is that it allows you to command respect. People respect individuals who are able to maintain their dignity and grace, even in difficult situations. When you remain unshaken in the face of humiliation, you send a clear message to others that you are not someone who can be easily diminished. This silent strength often garners admiration and respect, even from those who may have been part of the situation that caused you harm. People may initially seek to tear you down, but when they see that you rise above their efforts, they recognize your resilience and integrity. In this way, remaining composed is not only a reflection of your personal strength, but it can also inspire respect and admiration from others. Maintaining composure also provides an opportunity to take the high road. When others attempt to humiliate us, it often comes from a place of insecurity, bitterness, or need for validation. Responding to their actions with anger or revenge only perpetuates negativity. However, when you choose to remain composed, you rise above the pettiness and refuse to engage in the cycle of retaliation. By taking the high road, you maintain your integrity and demonstrate that you are not interested in engaging in destructive behaviors. This not only strengthens your own sense of self-respect, but also encourages others to respect you. Lastly, remaining composed is a sign of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions in a healthy and productive way. In moments of humiliation, it is easy to let your emotions take over and react impulsively. However, emotional intelligence allows you to step back and evaluate your feelings before responding. It gives you the tools to manage your emotions effectively, allowing you to respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals, rather than being driven by immediate emotional reactions. Developing emotional intelligence helps you to navigate difficult situations with grace and understanding, which is a powerful tool for personal growth and success. Humiliation, when faced in public, often has the power to create a ripple effect that can affect not only how we view ourselves, but also how we navigate the world around us. It is in these moments that we are faced with an opportunity, a defining choice of how we decide to shape our response. The truth is, humiliation can be a catalyst for transformation, growth, and an opportunity to demonstrate a level of maturity that elevates us above the situation. The people who can take back control of their emotional state and focus on their inner power are the ones who stand out as true leaders in the face of adversity. It is not the humiliation that defines us, rather it is how we choose to process, internalize, and respond to it that sets the course for our future success. In the moment of being humiliated, the immediate impulse is often to defend ourselves, to argue, to prove that we are not what others are saying or implying. It is the instinctive fight or flight response that is triggered by feelings of vulnerability and embarrassment. However, this reaction often perpetuates the negative energy and only serves to deepen the wound. The real power, though, lies in the ability to acknowledge the hurt, to experience the emotion, but to also choose not to let it control you. By not engaging in defensive behavior, you take away the power of the one who is trying to provoke you. The less you give in to the external situation, the less it has control over you. Instead of reacting in a way that validates their actions, you remain silent or calmly assert your boundaries. This controlled approach strips away the fuel they might seek to provoke further conflict, and it forces the situation to de-escalate. Choosing to walk away or remain calm in the face of humiliation doesn't signify weakness. In fact, it speaks volumes about your inner strength. Strength isn't always about confrontation or standing your ground. In every single moment, it's about understanding when to assert your power and when to use restraint. The ability to walk away from a situation that's designed to strip you of your dignity is not a retreat, it is an act of self-respect. It's a decision to not engage with negativity that could drag you down to a level where your energy and peace are compromised. Recognizing this and exercising restraint can be the highest form of personal power. You stand strong in your sense of self-worth, refusing to allow anyone or any situation to change your perception of who you are at your core. Remaining calm and composed in such situations doesn't mean ignoring the emotions that arise within you. In fact, it is important to allow yourself to feel the sting of humiliation. Suppressing or avoiding those emotions would only lead to them festering inside, which could manifest in other ways later on. Acknowledging the hurt, the disappointment, or the anger, and then choosing not to act on it is where true strength lies. Emotional resilience is about experiencing emotions, fully understanding where they come from, and then choosing how to move forward in a healthy way. When we acknowledge the emotion without letting it control us, we take away its power and place ourselves in a position of control. When humiliation happens, it's easy to allow our thoughts to spiral out of control, thinking that the event will forever define us, that others will always remember this moment of vulnerability. However, the truth is that most people are far more concerned with their own lives and struggles than they are with yours. What feels like a catastrophic moment to you is often just a fleeting instance in the minds of others. By keeping this perspective in mind, we can reframe the situation. The external world may pass judgment, but those judgments are transient. The moment you let go of caring about others' opinions and instead focus on your own inner peace, the less impact the humiliation will have on your emotional state. The power of detachment becomes essential in these moments. Understanding that this moment is temporary and that you are the only one who can define your worth gives you a sense of peace that nobody can take away. Another element that plays a vital role in how we handle public humiliation is self-forgiveness. When we are humiliated, especially if it involves something we have done, there may be a tendency to beat ourselves up and dwell on our perceived shortcomings. We replay the event in our minds, wondering what we could have done differently, what we should have said or not said. However, self-forgiveness is the antidote to this cycle of self-blame. Recognizing that we are all human and that mistakes are a part of the growth process is crucial to overcoming the emotional impact of humiliation. No one is perfect, and the ability to forgive ourselves for our perceived failures or missteps releases us from the shackles of shame. When we let go of the need for perfection, we open the door to greater self-acceptance and peace. Furthermore, by choosing to respond with poise and dignity, we create an opportunity to model behavior for others. In our world, where drama and conflict often dominate, the person who remains composed and grounded stands out as a beacon of emotional maturity. When we handle humiliation with grace, we teach others the value of emotional intelligence, resilience, and self-respect. It's important to remember that others are watching, and your reaction to humiliation can serve as an example for how to navigate difficult situations in a positive, empowering way. When you demonstrate how to handle adversity with grace, you inspire others to do the same, and this creates a ripple effect that can spread far beyond the moment itself. Lastly, one of the most important aspects of overcoming humiliation is the ability to understand that your worth is not defined by any single moment, interaction, or judgment. Your worth is inherent in who you are as a person, not in how others perceive you in any given moment. Humiliation can shake us because we attach our self-worth to the validation of others. However, the more we disconnect our sense of self from external validation, the more resilient we become when faced with such challenges. When we ground our worth in our own values, beliefs, and understanding of ourselves, we create an unwavering foundation that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. Humiliation may sting in the moment, but it does not diminish the true essence of who we are. We are not defined by others' reactions to us. We are defined by our own self-understanding and our response to life's challenges.